While in 2004 USC won the national championship 13-0 undefeated, it was the 2005 team that really interested me, as most of the players still rolled along to the next year, and this was also the year that was the peak of Reggie Bush. He won the Heisman this year with that incredible season and went down as one of the greatest college football players of all time. And if it wasn't for that legendary game against Vince Young in Texas, who we might be seeing in another video down the line, they would have went undefeated again. I think this 2005 team is a little bit more fun, obviously, because you get the peak of Reggie Bush. So we're going to rewrite history a little bit and see if this USC team from 2005 can win the national championship. They were unable to do it in real life, but they don't got a Vince Young Texas team to run into them. Now, some things that need to be addressed from the last time I did the video like this with the 01 Miami team. Some people were a little unhappy with the overalls, and I will say, I have to base this one relative to the game and, you know, base it on the game scaling of overalls. And two, a lot of people were like, oh, well, Miami had like 17 first rounders. And while that is true, those first rounders were not all in the following year's draft. Just for example, Clay Matthews is a freshman in 2005. He ended up becoming a first rounder and becoming a great and everything, but he wasn't that at, 18, 19 years old. So I had to, base it off of what they were, while also making them good enough so we could see them play, because obviously we want to see Clay Matthews in action. So I went with low 80s overalls. If we were a couple of years in the future doing like 08 USC, yeah, he'd be like a 90 overall. But we have to account for the version of the player we are using. We're not using first round pick Cushing or Clay Matthews. We're using freshman and sophomore versions of these players, as we have the opening game against Hawaii. I replicated the schedule as much as I possibly could. Another thing was some people were complaining that the schedule wasn't in the exact order. Well, I can't control locked games. I recreated the Pac-10. They're going to be playing 11 of the 12 opponents that they played in real life in the regular season. The conference locked a couple of games. I couldn't change them. So the order's not going to be exactly correct, but I did as much as I could to replicate the season as much as I possibly could given the circumstances of this game. As a 49-3 punt is blocked, and USC is absolutely dominating Hawaii as they hand off to Reggie Bush, who leaps over a man, and Reggie Bush inside the 5, down to the 1. They get backed up a little bit, but how about hand it to the other running back, Lendale White, for the touchdown, and Lendale White punches it in. I mean, remember, not just Reggie Bush, but Lendale White was like a 1,200-yard rush for 20-plus touchdowns that year as well. It's one of the greatest backfields in college football history, and 56-3 is your final. USC dominates their first game, and you can see Matt Leinart doesn't have to do a whole lot, really, if you just hand the football off to Reggie Bush, getting a whole lot of yards. And I'm trying to get it to where they're running the football as much as possible, and, when they're having 40, 50-point leads, then they're probably going to be running the ball good amount. But we have Oregon already in the second game. It's just how things ended up taking place, but Oregon being the conference opener, and for big games against big schools like at Oregon, we're going to be going through the second halves of the games. We know how Oregon goes in this game. If you watch videos on this channel, they are the hardest team to take down, it feels like. So can this USC team take them down? It's going to be the ultimate test, as USC driving and getting sacked, and it's going to be 4th down. Kick on the way for the 4-point lead is going to be good, so Oregon takes over as Dylan Gabriel hands it off, and it's going to be a juke outside, 1st down, and past the 30-yard line. Dropping back once more, Gabriel on 3rd down. That ball swatted away, and USC takes over. Hand off to Reggie Bush, and there he goes outside, and Reggie Bush is breaking a tackle and getting out of bounds. He's over 100 yards. How about a handoff to Lendale White, who is breaking tackles as Lendale White is the thunder in this backfield. The lightning with the handoff, as one of the original just smash and dash type of backfields where you got Reggie Bush making you miss, and then Lendale White will punch you in the face. Such a great backfield. I mean, I don't know where you're going to rank this in terms of all-time backfields, but it's certainly up there as, one of the greatest running back duos in college history, not to mention a Heisman quarterback in Matt Leinart, a great offensive line with guys like Ryan Khalil and Deuce Latui, Winston Justice, and then you got Dwayne Jarrett, who was a multiple-time 1,000-yard receiver, a second-round pick in the NFL. So, this USC team, their offense was unbelievable. We'll get into the kind of stat comparison at the end of the video to kind of show what they did in the game versus real life. It's going to be hard to tackle what they did in real life in terms of scoring points, but we're going to see if they can do it, especially with this tough schedule against Oregon. Oregon today is a lot better than they were, 20 years ago, as they're going to have a touchdown, and that's going to tie this football game up here in the fourth quarter, and Reggie Bush with the handoff just dashing through and getting a first down with ease as Leinart throws it outside. That's going to be caught. Dwayne Jarrett for the first down past midfield as Leinert's going to throw once more outside. That's going to be caught, and he's going to get it all the way to the 20-yard line, and now handoff. Here goes Bush cutting it back. It's going to be fourth down, and they're going to settle for the field goal. I feel like 4th and 1 could have been Lendale White's time to shine, but they're going to give it back to Oregon as they're going to have a first down run. And Oregon's running it really well, too, so both of these teams just dominating on the ground as it's another first down, moving the chains. Gabriel, he's going to get sacked, and it's going to be backing them up to 3rd down and 14. Gabriel's getting chased. He moves out of 1 sack. He evaded it, but it's going to be 4th down and 14, so it still means they can go for it, and they're going to have the touchdown all the way to the end zone, and they just had a busted coverage. If there's one weakness of this USC team, it is their secondary. Their secondary is just okay. The rest of their team is pretty great, but their secondary just being okay is something to exploit. Leinart is going to have it knocked out. It's 4th down and 3. Could USC be going down in week 2? Leinart delivers, and that's going to be caught as they're going to have Leinart once again 3rd down, throwing outside. That's going to be caught again, and they're moving the chains. They're putting it in Leinart's hands. Reggie Bush is just in the block as Leinart has a lot of time. No one's getting to him. He's floating that one up, and that's going to be caught, and that ball just lingered up there as now 20 seconds to play. Leinart hit as he's thrown out the back of the end zone. We're down to just a couple of plays. Leinart, end zone. It's going to be out the back again. 4th down, game on the line. Leinart throwing, end zone, touchdown, Dwayne Jarrett. And now it's going to be 30-27. Gabriel with the Hail Mary. He's going to have to get this one like 90 yards down the field. That's not going to happen, and that's going to be knocked away. USC survives, and they get the game-winning touchdown to Dwayne Jarrett. Matt Leinart, in the end, delivered multiple 4th down conversions for the victory. And, with how good Reggie Bush, Lendale White is, you got to remember Matt Leinart was a Heisman-winning quarterback as well, and he was a great player. So now you got the next game against Stanford, 28-7, a lot more comfy as a 4th down play for Stanford. Maybe your last chance as they're going to fire one up the seam, and that's going to be caught for a touchdown. And a great play by Stanford to give themselves an outside chance of maybe being in this one. But they had to stop USC, and stopping this USC offense is going to be proven to be super difficult. On the run, Leinart delivers, and Jarrett breaking a tackle. He's going to get it to the 11-yard line. 3rd down, Leinart throwing. A lot of time in the pocket. This great offensive line is helping him. Great pocket movement, and he finds Bird for the touchdown. As that's going to be 35-14, as I can't even think of what the best part of this team is on offense. The offensive line, the running backs, the quarterback, it's all so good. Stanford trying to get to 20+ at least. I mean, you're probably not going to win this game with 4 minutes to go, but you can have a nice play like that that's caught in traffic. 3rd down, dropping the throw. Pressure gets in, and that's a fumble. It's going to be scooped up, but now you're way far back. 4th down and 20. You had a desperation heave in you. Pressure finally got in. That ball's going to be tipped away, incomplete. And now down to the running game to end this one. And that's going to be the great thing with having a lead 20, 30 points every game. It feels like USC is going to be able to run this football a whole lot. Leinart, another clean game. Reggie Bush, not a great game, actually. I mean, a pretty down one, especially considering the yards per carry. But one thing that's going to differ for sure is the amount of carries Reggie Bush is getting. Reggie Bush in real life didn't get a whole lot of carries in his Heisman winning season, just like a decent amount, but with the extra games that we're going to have, conference titles, probably playoffs, it's going to be a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs, but Reggie's going to be getting a lot more carries, and I prioritize making sure he got the ball as much as possible so we could actually see him in action as Leinart's going to throw out of bounds. This field goal try is going to be up, and it is no good as Cal ends up driving down the field with under 2 minutes to play, getting sacked as they were so close to getting a shutout. Now Cal threatening to score again, but it's going to be another sack 4th down upcoming if they can't get a conversion here. That's not going to happen. 4th and 21. I mean, they're just going to settle for the field goal, get some points on the board. It's going to be good. Just 10 garbage time points allowed, and USC gets an easy victory and a bounce back game for Reggie Bush. And this is what you're here to see. How about Reggie and Lendale White going for over 250 combined? How about a game on the road against the ranked Arizona team? It's a little bit closer than you might have thought, as it's going to be Tetero and McMillan. You're facing the best receiver in the nation. He's a big reason why this game is even close, as he has just been the target. I said this USC secondary is kind of the weakest part of the team, even though it's still not even an awful secondary. But if you're going to attack something, how about just attack this secondary with the best receiver? 23-21 is your score, as that's going to be a 1st down. He somehow just slipped through, as Liner going to throw it on 3rd down. That one's going to be broken up, incomplete, and Arizona has it back. They could take the lead here as we're approaching the 4th quarter. Little pop pass, and that's going to be outside. He's got a lot of room as he gets inside the 30-yard line. 4th quarter underway, and Fafita with the play action on 3rd down. That ball's going to be knocked away, and now Arizona going for the field goal, taking the lead as the kick is good, and USC finds themselves down as Liner. You got to do something here. He's just going to laser that one in there. I don't know how the receiver caught that one. How about a screen out? Reggie Bush is going to get the 1st down. I mean, he's a great receiving back as well. Even if you took away his elite running ability, he's still one of the better receiving backs that you'll have in college football, as they're going to have that one inside the 25-yard line. 7 minutes to play as Liner has a step on him, and that's going to be a touchdown. Liner to Jared, and now a 2-point conversion's going to be good. 7-point lead as Fafita takes over, and immediately he's got Tetero McMillan, and no one's going to catch a McMillan. Ties it up immediately, and I said there was only one man keeping this team in this game. Arizona's just going to McMillan, but you got Reggie Bush on the other side, and they're going to go to him. He's got it inside the enemy territory. Go back to him. Another 1st down. Reggie Bush running through this defense as Liner going to throw outside, incomplete, and now you're down to a long field goal try, 50 yards. It is good, but is a field goal going to be enough? They're just going to throw it to Tetero and McMillan eventually on this drive, and they're probably going to catch it as they're already past the 40-yard line over the middle. That's going to be caught. Already in position to maybe tie this game up. You need a couple more yards for a field goal, and you're going to get it there. Curl route caught inside the 35. Now 3rd down and 1 at the 25. Fafita, middle, that's broken up, and the defense made a play. Now the field goal try is going to tie this game up, and you're down to the USC offense. Liner outside, that's going to be incomplete. 3rd down and 5. Liner is going to have that one knocked away. It's 4th down. Can Arizona pull off the upset here? Fafita, he's getting sacked, and it's going to be 2nd down. Move it to 3rd down, and they're just going to try to run this clock. USC burns a timeout. They're going to get 25 seconds in good field position. Liner, you need one maybe good play to get into field goal range. You're close, as now they're going to hand it off to Reggie Bush, and Bush is going to get them to where they feel comfortable from 57 yards for the win. It is good, and USC survives a very scary Arizona team. I mean, McMillan just went off on them and just would not let them be out of this game. Reggie had a nice game. How about a little bit easier of a matchup? You got Washington State. You're up 35-13, and a little toss out fake. Liner moving, and he's going to break out a 1 sack, but not 2. And it's going to result in a field goal try. Kick is going to be no good. And Matt Leinart, I mean, even for his time 20 years ago, wasn't exactly a great athlete. And now in today's college football and football world, he's by no means much of an athlete at all as USC takes over Reggie. He gets outside. It's hard to get an angle on him when Reggie's just that fast. You're inside the 5-yard line. How about pending it up, and Bush finishes the drive, and it's going to be 42-13 with under a minute to play. Middle, that's going to be caught, and it's going to be a fumble, and USC scoops it up, ends the game 42-13, and they dominate Washington State. Another good game for Reggie. I mean, I don't know what he's got to do to get a Heisman Trophy, because getting a Heisman running back in this game just feels impossible, but he's trying. How about next week? 42-7 over Oregon State. Another dominant game. I think this one's a little bit more realistic in terms of, you know, having the team that I created and the ratings and everything reflect dominant victories. Obviously, that Arizona game was a little close, but even USC in real life, they did have a close scare. Fresno State put up a really scary game on them and almost pulled it off. And then Oregon, you can't expect them to just dominate Oregon, especially in this game. Oregon's just a cheat code, but I think we've been reflecting what USC did in real life somewhat adequately, when it comes to the scores, as they're putting up 40+ every single game and an interception. Defense isn't allowing a whole lot. It seems like it's under 20 points every game except for, the Oregon and Arizona game, but they got another dominant victory. Reggie with another dominant performance on the ground, and the defense is, having their occasional moments of greatness. A couple of interceptions this time around as they have Arizona State. This one not as high scoring, but it's 17-0, so it's been a shutout for the defense, as it's been multiple times where, the teams are going into the fourth quarter with single digits on the scoreboard. Third down run is going to be called back. That means Arizona State's going to end up punting the football instead, and they're going to be giving them good field position. Reggie makes a man miss, and there goes Bush to the 30-yard line before getting knocked out of bounds. How about another handoff? And this one's going to be LenDale White, and LenDale White gets a 30-yard touchdown. It's nice seeing the game actually utilize him a little bit, as it's 24-0. USC trying to get a little shutout on their resume, as they're going to have Arizona State moving it down the field at about midfield, throwing outside, caught, and turning upfield. He's got a block, and he's going to get it past the 40-yard line, so the shutout in some jeopardy here, and it's going to be a deep shot over the middle, touchdown. No shutout for USC this time, as 24-8 is going to be the score. So technically two-score game, not impossible, but when you're not getting the onside kick, it turns into a very improbable chance of victory here, as they're going to throw one outside. That's going to be caught, and Jarrett for the first down. It just feels like anytime they throw the football, Dwayne Jarrett's there on the receiving end, and it's going to be a timeout used, field goal try, up and good. So that's going to be your final 27-8. Once again, just 3 quarters of shutting them out, and then, you allow basically a garbage time touchdown. Both running backs over 100 yards. How about Washington now? Back in the single digits for the defense, 28-9, and USC has the football, good field position. Throwing it back to Bird. That's a first down to 15. Now inside the 10. Leinart, middle, caught for the touchdown. And now they're up 35-9. You guys can let me know if you think this has been a little bit better than the Miami video when it comes to the realism. I do want there to actually be some close games. Like the Oregon game, maybe Oregon in real life wouldn't come as close to beating the USC, but upsets do happen for 1. And 2, we do also have the fact that you want to see some close games. Even if USC or Miami and whoever else we may do in real life maybe blew out every other team, you want to see that for entertainment value there to be some close ones and some fun ones to operate in, but mostly blowouts so far. And we have another one, 38-9 over Washington, but we've had at least 2 close games, and when we get to the playoffs, maybe we'll get another close game or 2. The season is winding down, and it's a game against Fresno State, 35-14. How about an end around to Steve Smith as he breaks the tackle and gets all the way? As you remember Steve Smith, not the Panthers great, obviously, but how about the Giants' former 1,000-yard receiver, Steve Smith? You remember him? It's a random season that he had that was great once upon a time, and then did nothing else in the rest of his career. But it's 42-14 as Fresno State gonna have an incomplete pass, and it's gonna be 4th down and 11. USC gonna get the stop, and now threatening to maybe go for 50 points in this one, as Leinart gonna go on the run. What a throw! And that's gonna be caught at the 15-yard line. 2nd down and 5. Handoff. That's gonna be Reggie Bush, and that's a first down inside the 5. Toss it out, and there's LenDale White finishing the drive for the score. 49-14. 50 points is within the realms of possibility. Fresno with the ball with 4 minutes to play, as they're gonna have a first down to midfield. Now dropping to throw again. They're going to have a clean pocket and another open man as they're inside the 35-yard line. Throwing outside again, and this time he breaks a tackle and gets it inside the 15-yard line. So USC, their defense is struggling a little bit. Obviously it doesn't matter. It's garbage time, but, just not maybe a nice thing to see going into potential conference championship playoffs. USC doesn't get the 50 points. They end up running up the clock. 49-21, though, is Reggie Bush. How about a 200-plus yard game? What a game for him, as he is racking up so many yards that he's still not getting Heisman respect. Maybe one day I got to do a video just on what it takes to get a running back a Heisman in this game, because I check the Heisman every week. He's like 4th, 5th, in Heisman. It's ridiculous. 56-17 now. How about another, 45-plus point game? How about making it 59-17 and a victory for USC, as they're going to have Reggie Bush going for another 200 yards. How about 4 touchdowns? Jarrett with a nice game as well. USC has locked up their spot in the Pac-10. We'll call it the Pac-10 because that's what it was back then, and, I made it Pac-10, but they locked up their spot in the Pac-10 championship. They didn't have a conference championship back then, but, because we're modernizing it and making it so in today's college football, you got to win a conference championship in today's college football. So they're going to be locking up their spot there. And in real life, they did get a game against Notre Dame, a tipped interception. It was one of their toughest games of the year back in 2005. Notre Dame in this one, a lot closer than, a lot of other USC games. Just a 2-score game as Leinart goes down. He gets sacked. 3rd down and 17. Can he maybe sneak into field goal range? Leinart is going to get an incomplete pass. 4th down. And now 3rd down again for Notre Dame, as they're going to be threatening to go 3 and out, and they do. How about turning it back the other way? Will USC go 3 and out? Yes, they will. So we're trading possessions. 3rd down, 3 and outs, and Notre Dame will have one of their own. How about turning it back to USC? Reggie Bush, no more 3 and outs this time around as he gets a 10-yard run. 1st down, handoff, sweeping it out to Reggie with the spin move, and Reggie Bush with another 1st. Now dropping ahead to the 4th quarter. Leinart underneath, caught, turning it upfield, and this is huge as USC could go up by 3 scores, as it's going to be a fumble, but it's jumped on. That was very big to jump on that one. Field goal is good, so it is a 3-score game. Notre Dame needs to do something fast if they're going to have a chance to come back in this one. Under 8 minutes to play, as they're going to have it past the 40-yard line. Trying to put a bow on this one and solidify their spot in the college football playoffs. If they win this game, they're locked in. Even if they lose the conference championship, they'd be too high of a ranking to fall out. But if you lose 2 games in a row to close the season, you could fall out. It's not impossible. Notre Dame keeping it alive with a touchdown, 26-38. 2nd down toss play out to Bush, and that's going to be a 1st down. He gets out of bounds. You got to keep it in bounds. Keep this clock going as Leinart throwing outside. Well, there you go. Another big play as it's going to go inside the 30-yard line. 4.5 to go with the play action, throwing on the run, and that's going to be caught inside the 5-yard line. And they're moving this football. Can they seal it with the touchdown? They're going to get sacked, and it's going to be a field goal try, so it's a 2-score game still. It's not over quite yet. Notre Dame, though, they need to score a touchdown, and they got it to the 45-yard line. They're doing a good job moving it so far. Under 2 to go, and that pass could be caught. Timeout used. Now you're kind of relying on the onside kick, as that ball's almost intercepted. 4th and 5. Riley Leonard, you got to do something here as he goes outside for the 1st down. Past the marker. Timeouts used. They're basically fully committed to the onside kick, but you got to score the touchdown first. Another 4th down situation. Leonard outside. It's caught, broken tackle, touchdown. 1-score game, and the onside kick is up in the air, and it's tipped around, picked up. USC, that almost was disastrous as they get the onside kick and end this game. 41-33, an impressive victory as they hold them off and punch their ticket to the college football playoffs. But first, we do have a conference championship. It's going to be a matter of will they get the 1st round bye or not. They barely beat Oregon on a last-second touchdown. Can they beat them again? How about we move ahead to the conference championship in SoFi Stadium? Just like in real life, USC had an undefeated regular season, 12-0. Now we're on to the postseason. Can they win the conference championship? Obviously, like I said before, no conference championship in real life needed to be played, so USC didn't have to go through it. But now with a 10-point lead against Oregon, a hold setting them back, things are looking really good. There's still a lot of time to go, though, as like I said, these big games, we get into the 3rd quarter of them, so we get to see a little bit more action. Gabriel is going to get hit as he's throwing incomplete. Field goal try is going to make it a 1-score game, so a 7-point lead as you got Leinart emptied out, and he's getting sacked. Now you got 3rd down and long, as you don't want to give Oregon this momentum. They're going to check it down underneath it. He's got a lot of room to run, so a huge 1st down is going to move the chains. Leinart in the air again. He's got another guy wide open with room to run, and past midfield he goes. Throwing again. Leinart is just not fast enough to move away. He's sacked. It's 3rd down and 21. but there's plenty of time, and he's eventually going to get an open man. Touchdown! In real life, Dwayne Jarrett scored, I believe, 16 touchdowns in 2005. Well, I mean, he's been a touchdown machine for the passing game this year, so I think Dwayne Jarrett's been very realistic to how he's been, and that's going to be a nice run breaking a tackle to midfield, as Oregon can't really settle for a field goal on this one. I mean, maybe you do have another quarter left to play, but is USC really going to be held under 30 points at this stage? They're going to try the field goal here. USC's defense has done what they needed to do. I mean, that's 3 times holding them to a field goal. Meanwhile, they're getting touchdowns. They got a touchdown the last drive, now trying to get another one. As we're on to the 4th quarter, and Reggie Bush with a big run past midfield as they're going to go back to him. Big lane opened up. Broken tackle again. Reggie fighting to the 25 as they're going to throw a screen. Now that's intercepted, and that's a disaster because it's not just a pick. It's a pick 6 for Oregon, and suddenly the game has turned upside down. It's a 2-point conversion that is good. Oregon down by 3, and that is awful for USC because they're getting sacked. 3rd down and 14. Liner is going to go outside, but that's way short of the marker. Oregon has the football. They have the momentum. Just a 1-score deficit, and now a play into field goal range. Gabriel, middle, caught, and these 2 receivers, Evan Stewart, Tez Johnson, are starting to come alive. The running game is 2, inside the 5, touchdown Oregon. They got the lead all of a sudden, but USC, they were in this position once before. They got a game-winning touchdown with under 15 seconds to play in week 2. Can they do it again? They got time. They got the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd down and 9. Leinart on the run. He just has to get rid of it. Pressure was there. 4th down. Game on the line. That ball's going to be knocked away, and it's going to be Oregon football. Now they're going to have to stop them and hold them to a field goal. 2nd down. Run is going to be stopped. Now it's 3rd down. Game on the line. Gabriel blitzing in. He's got it. 1st down, and USC loses. And just like in real life, undefeated, 12-0, and then game number 13 strikes, and they lose. Difference is, in real life, that was the end of the season. Here, this is only the start of what is going to be a difficult playoff run. No 1st-round bye for USC. Should come as no surprise, Reggie Bush gets the best running back award. 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. No Heisman Trophy, though. He came like 4th or 3rd in the Heisman Trophy. I didn't remember where he finished. It was like 3rd or 4th, though. He never even led in Heisman, never even got to number 2, but now he got an at-home game in the playoffs against Clemson. Instead of the 1st-round bye, you need to take down this Clemson team, and it is a 20-17 game as now USC with the football. They got a screen out. Reggie Bush with it, and he gets stopped. Great job from the defense to blow that one up. 3rd down on the other side. Cade Klubnik has it, and that's a touchdown. Busted coverage, and Clemson with the lead. Now you got to go to Reggie Bush and Lendale White, get on the ground and start grinding things out because no one's stopping this ground game. Leinart, though, to the air, and he's got the 1st down. Now back to the air once more. Another short pass, and that one's going to get it to the 1st down marker. They're moving it. Leinart outside. That one a little late, and now you're going to have to settle for the field goal. He threw that ball a second earlier. That's going to be a completed pass, and the timing was just off on that one. Klubnik, though, has the football back, and now with a 1-point lead, a fumble, and the defense comes up with a big play. That is massive, as now USC's got a diving grab inside the 10. Goal to go, handoff. Reggie breaking a tackle. Touchdown, USC has the lead. 2-point conversion, toss it out. Bush is not going to have the edge for once in his career. Now you got USC on defense. Can they get another big turnover like they did last time? It's 29-24, 3rd and 11, screen set up, and that's going to be blown up. USC takes over to start the 4th quarter as Leinart over the middle, and that's a great throw. Midfield. Leinart gonna get sacked, and he couldn't get the ball off quick enough. It's 3rd and long. Screen set up. He goes the other way with it. They're fine settling for the punt, but it's not gonna be a punt. It's a fumble, and Clemson gets their get back for the fumble earlier. They're even in that regard, but USC's trying to prevent Clemson from getting on top of the scoreboard as they're gonna throw for a 1st down on the outside. Now Klubnik to throw it again over the middle. This one's caught in traffic for the 1st down. They're inside the 30-yard line trying to get that end zone, and they are gonna do just that. Touchdown Clemson. 2-point conversion on their side. And it's going to be a little jet pass, and both teams get the fumble, score a touchdown, miss the 2-point conversion. USC responding with a deep ball at the 20-yard line. It's going to be dropping back as Leinert, and it took him 2 plays and getting the touchdown. Now another 2-point conversion. Teams are just missing these left and right, and it's going to be once again Clemson getting the stop on a 2-point conversion. So now it's a 5-point game. 4th down for Klubnik. They punt the football away. USC, can they get the 2-score lead? Not on that one. Now going to go back to Clemson, who gets blown up in the backfield. 3rd down. Klubnik underneath. That's going to be caught, but not much further. They're going to punt it. USC has great field position. Bush is going to break through a tackle, make another man miss, and Reggie Bush gets a 1st down. He knows how to turn a 4-yard run into a 12-yard run as the Leinert's going to go down underneath, and the play action's going to result in a 1st down. They're in field goal range, but because they missed that 2-point conversion, a field goal is going to keep it a 1-score game. Under 2 minutes to play. They're using their timeouts, and it's not going to matter. A touchdown, and USC has a 12-point lead, and it's going to take a miracle probably to win this one, but Klubnik's going to try it. Clemson got a big play to start their drive, but they're going to need to do a lot more than that, and they're getting sacked. Time is running out, and Clemson's running out of timeouts. They're going to need an onside kick if they get into the end zone, which they're going to do with a great block down the field, and it's a touchdown for Clemson. But the onside kick is what ultimately matters, and it's going to be scooped up by USC. And that's going to be game, an exciting one, 42-37, and they escape. Now, how about going on to the 2nd round? But after a very exciting 1st round, they get back to the 2nd round, which is where they would have been if they won the conference championship. Reggie Bush with a nice game, and, you know, Reggie getting involved in the receiving game a little bit. Jarrett with a nice performance. Leinert did his thing. Defense had that big fumble, but then they gave it back the other way. But now we got the 2nd round against Georgia. 21-12 is your score, so a 9-point lead for USC as they're getting the football to start off this 3rd quarter after a 3-and-out, and that play is going to get them to 3rd down and inches. Little fullback dive, and that's going to get them a 1st down. Okay, a little fullback action. You act like it's the mid-2000s by giving it to the fullback. 3rd down and long. Liner, screen to Reggie Bush, and they are outnumbered, and they are going to stop them. Carson Beck and Georgia back out there as they're going to have a shot over the middle, cut for the 1st down past the 40-yard line. Play action. As Beck is going to go outside. That's going to be caught, and that's going to be a big-time gain as they're going to hand it off, and that's going to be Etienne, and there goes Etienne for the 1st down inside the 5-yard line. Beck trying to get this to a 1-score game, and he does just that, scoring, and now it's a 2-point game. Throwing a deep ball, and all of a sudden, look who it is! It's Reggie Bush! Out wide, and he burns the defense! If he's not doing it on the ground, Reggie Bush is doing it through the air! A 75-yard score, and all of a sudden, Georgia right back where they were previously. Down by 9, needing a touchdown drive if they want to get this back to the 2-point game that they held for all of about 5 seconds, it felt like. Back to the air, past the 40-yard line, he's going to go with a deflected pass, and he's at least going to do enough to get them in field goal range to keep this a 1-score game once more, but can you stop Reggie Bush on the ground or in the air as they got a screen set up, and that's going to be a 1st down. We're getting closer to the 4th quarter as Leinert is going to get sacked, and 2 guys got in there. 2nd and 21. What do you got? Well, you got a 3-man pass rush, so you got plenty of time with 6 guys blocking, and a phenomenal job by the line, and he's going to find an open man. That's going to be caught, and you can't send 3 on this team. They're going to block them if you get double teams across the board. You're not going to be able to do much against this offensive line. With only rushing 3, you got to do something like that. You got to get someone off the edge. 3rd down and long. Blitz sent in. Leinert going outside. That's intercepted! And that is not what you want to say. Just like in the Oregon game, they had the lead, they had the ball, they had control, and all of a sudden you've given them an opening. 29-28 USC as they need to go and score, but Reggie Bush is going to help them out with a screen pass. They're going to go with a little handoff, play action. Play took too long and they weren't fooled. Sacked by Georgia, 29-28, and now you're really desperate to get back into field goal range, but you get it, and a lot more. Can you get into the end zone now? 3rd and 3, Leinert has time. It's a 3-man rush again. You got to learn. You can't rush 3 against this team, but I mean, you throw it short of the sticks. Field goal is good. Georgia, they're down with 3.5 to go, and there goes Etienne for the 1st down. And past the 30-yard line, Carson Beck outside. He goes to an open man, and he's past midfield. just needing a field goal so you can have yourself in position to maybe run some clock out, and that one, that's broken up in what effort? They're going for it on 4th down as Beck is going to have it incomplete, and now USC takes over. They can end this game, and that's a great start. Reggie Bush, 3rd down and 2. They're going to go play action. You got to hand it to Reggie. What are you doing? You can't just not give the football to Reggie Bush on 3rd down to seal it. As now 2nd down and 12 turns to 3rd and 12, minute 20 to go, and that's a strike over the middle, open touchdown for Georgia, and USC might pay for this one, but they're gonna take a deep shot. It's Reggie Bush out wide again. He got the touchdown. Reggie, how did you do it again? He's got the 2-point conversion, but it's no good. 37-36. What is going on in this one? You got less than a minute to go, Carson. What do you got, Georgia? Over the middle, that's going to be caught for the first. Past midfield they go, back to the air again. He's going to have it underneath, and he's going to turn up ahead. Field goal range is acquired. 37 seconds to go. Beck is got it. Broken tackle, and timeout is going to eventually be used. And this is weird because they hand the football off. And I've never seen that happen before in this game. What happened? Georgia, you had 20 seconds to go. I don't even know how to explain that. This game has been out for many months. I have not seen that actually happen before. This has never been an issue that I've ran into somehow. Maybe it's more common with your guys' games, but they ran the football with no timeouts. That wasn't even really the issue, but like 20 seconds ticked off the clock, and USC catches maybe the biggest break in college football history. We had a little bit of fun in the Final Four, as it's going to be Texas. It's no Vince Young, but it is the Longhorns, as they got a trip to the national championship on the line, and it's not looking too good. 31-7 is the score. I don't know if we're going to be as stunned by this, considering the fact that Quinn Ewers is no Vince Young, as it's going to really show that he is not ready for this USC team. National championship berth on the line, and you got Reggie Bush running for a 1st down. It would take the biggest of miracles to make a comeback in this one, especially when this USC offense comes out in the second half, moving it like they are inside the 10, as Leinart is going to get sacked, so you can hold him to a field goal at least, but doesn't matter how many field goals you hold him to if Quinn Ewers on the other side isn't going to score a touchdown, and he is not scoring one on this play. 3rd down and long. Ewers is just getting bullied around, and maybe some pent-up frustration after losing in real life. This team dropped over 30 points in the Rose Bowl to Texas, and it was not enough, and now the defense is really bending down, letting it be known that it ain't going to happen again. They're not allowing 40-plus points, as they're going to settle for another field goal. It is going to be good. 37-7 as the 3rd quarter is running out, and a sack again, as USC is just having a lot of fun in the 4th quarter. 4th down, they're punting the football. Reggie with the handoff. It's going to be another 1st down, and just keep in mind, he ended the season with 2,000 yards, as there goes Jared on the sweep, and the jet sweep is even working. But keep in mind, Reggie went over 2,000 yards in the 13 games that we played. Now with the next 3 games that we've had in the playoffs where Reggie's had good performances, I know it won't maybe mean as much if he captures the record in a 17-game season compared to what Barry Sanders ended up doing in the amount of games that he played. But I mean, he's getting a little close to the record. So I think Reggie's been as advertised in this video, as Quinn Ewers at least threw a touchdown finally, but there's only a couple minutes to go. Ewers trying to just make the score look a little bit closer, as he's going to get it down to the 1-yard line, hand it off. It's a touchdown, and USC's going to win this one 47-21, so not a lot to showcase, as it was basically a blowout. But Matt Leinart, good game. Didn't have to throw it a lot because he was averaging 12 yards per attempt. Reggie with another 100-yard game, as that's pretty normal to say at this point. I mean, how many games has he had this year where he's been under 100 yards? Like 2, 3 sacks. They came in a lot in the 4th quarter. Now we're on to the national championship, and it is against Ohio State. And Ohio State, it's a much closer one, 13-10, as the defense is doing a little bit better on Ohio State's side of things. No 31 points allowed in the first half, but USC with the football, they're going to have it to the 25-yard line with a big play. Leinart dropping to throw it over the middle. That's a perfect strike to Jarrett for the touchdown. as there's going to be Will Howard with a 10-point deficit, getting blown up, and he made 2 guys miss, but not 3, and it really only lost him more yards as it's going to be blown up. He got 2 elite running backs in the backfield, but not much he could do on 3rd and that long. Reggie on the screen is going to get the first down. And it's been an interesting strategy for USC in this playoff run. Reggie's been dominating on the ground, but in the playoffs, they're turning him into just a pass catcher. It's really interesting, the shift that they've made. It seems like all the teams in the playoffs have keyed in on Reggie on the ground, and they're just saying, well, we need to get Reggie the ball regardless, so they're just going to throw the football to him. He had over 200 yards against Georgia through the air. He's had, some of his best receiving games in the playoffs, so I guess they're going to just prioritize giving them the football in any possible way, which I do like. It's smart, give him the football, but I'd like to see him get his 20-plus carries that he's been getting all season, as it's a big play for Ohio State, trying to chop this thing down to a 1-score game. The third quarter's moved pretty fast. There's a sack as USC dropping them back to 3rd and long, and a deep ball is going to be knocked away. Ohio State going to settle for the kick, and to cut it down to a 10-point game, it is good. USC takes over. Last plays of the 3rd quarter is going to result in USC getting blown up. 4th quarter underway, screen outside. I mean, it's 3rd and long. You're just going to sacrifice the possession, try to play the field position game, try to hold on to your 10-point lead. You trust your defense in this situation. They've been good all year, so you're going to trust them to try to hold on to this lead the best that they can, and they're going to do just that on the first 3 downs where they go for it on 4th and inches. Judkins gets the first down, and Will Howard has a shot over the middle for the first down, and Ohio State not going out of this one quietly, as they're going to have it for the first inside the 15. Handoff. There goes Judkins for the touchdown, and we got ourselves a 3-point game. So this national championship getting a little bit more exciting as Reggie Bush on the screen again. I think you're getting a little predictable with these screen passes. You can have the greatest players in the world, but you're calling this game scared. I don't know who it is on the offensive side. Who's the offensive coordinator calling these plays? Because he's calling this game scared, as the punt is going to be a broken tackle. He got backwards for a couple of yards, then breaks it, goes to midfield, so a nice return to set Ohio State up. It's Travion Henderson with a broken tackle, and Henderson is going to get it at the 40-yard line, so they're in field goal range to tie this thing up, and Henderson and Judkins are teaming up to really put Ohio State back into this one, as they could take the lead here. 2nd and 10, Howard, middle, caught, 2-yard line, going out, toss to Henderson, and it is blown up, and that's going to be a field goal settled for USC. Has allowed the comeback to take place, but now it's in their hands. They've been completely stagnated since they got that field goal to start the second half. The defense has been doing good for Ohio State, but really the offense has just not been calling it well. They have not ran the football very much, and they're going to go 3-0 with 3 incompletions. And now Ohio State with the strike past the 40-yard line, and they're going to run it. Spin move. Judkins and Henderson are just too hard to stop right now for this defense, as they're going to run it again. Another good game. 2nd and 1. First down again. And this game is coming down to what looks to be a game-winning kick, as there's going to be Henderson not going down. They're not going to have a Georgia situation this time. And this is going to really open up some old wounds for our USC fans. Just like in real life, they come up short at the end, not winning the national championship. That is heartbreaking, as, you could say maybe it's deserved, though, because of what happened in that Georgia game. Georgia very well was going to win that game off the game-winning kick at the end, but that's a little bit of an odd set of play calling, I think, at the end of this one. But Reggie Bush was not getting the football as much as he should have in the big games and the big moments. I mean, they really were not giving him the ball. Maybe they were just trying to outsmart themselves, trick themselves. I don't know what they were doing, but real life and in the game, both has the same results. You lose in the national championship in the big game. Reggie Bush, though, my goodness, look at the year he had. Even, Lendale White, I was a little worried that he wouldn't get carries. I mean, he didn't get as many yards as he got in real life, but, Reggie Bush kind of took a lot of them, because we'll get into the comparison in a little bit. But, I mean, look what he was able to do. I mean, look at the playoff games. I'm not even going to really say it was on Reggie as much. His carries were just down. I mean, look at his carries. They just didn't give him the ball as much. I mean, he, like I said, was a little bit more of a receiver, and they were giving him a lot of screens, giving him a lot of plays where they were lining him up out wide, but Reggie's just a running back. Give him the ball. I just don't think they were calling it correctly, but I mean, he had some nice receiving games. That Georgia game was obviously special. I think I did Reggie justice in making him. I really think I did. You can let me know, but he had way more carries than he did in real life. But we do also have to account for the fact that he played in like 4 or 5 extra games or whatever the case is. I think it was 4 extra games. But we'll get into the comparisons and everything. But I mean, Reggie was just spectacular. You carry the football 380 times and average like 6.5 a carry. That is unbelievable. Jarrett, that is a lot of accuracy on Dwayne Jarrett. I mean, his stats were really good. Sacks, Clay Matthews, I mean, you could say maybe I underrated it because of what he ended up becoming in real life, but as a freshman, giving him like a low to mid 80s overall, he still had double-digit sacks, did really well. But now we'll get into the final part of this video where I compare what this USC team did in real life compared to what they did in the game. How accurate was it? How on point was their stats? Were they better in 2005? Were they better in game? Were they done justice by this game and reflecting them properly? So let's get into all the stats and the statistics right now. We start off with the offense, where I've tried to break these statistics mostly up into per game statistics because of the fact that there was such a big game discrepancy. You know, one team played 13 games, went 12-1. The other team played 17, went 15-2. So I said it was going to be hard to match what USC did in real life in terms of points. And yeah, I mean, in the game, they still averaged about 40 points a game, which is really good. 40 points per game comfortably led the nation in college football 25. Like 40 points a game is really good. In real life, though, they averaged 50 a game because they were just nuts. And, you know, the yardage, this is the biggest discrepancy, was the points and yardage. But even still, I mean, for as much as Reggie Bush was nuclear on the ground and Lendale White still had like 700 plus yards as a backup, they still didn't even come all that close in rushing yards. I mean, 188 yards a game on the ground, again, really good. But in real life, they had 260. I mean, Lendale White and Reggie Bush in real life combined for about 3,000 yards, and that was in 13 games. In the game, they combined for about 3,200, 3,100 yards, and it was in 17 games. So I think it really just puts into perspective how good they were in real life. The fact that I made Reggie Bush a 99 overall, he ran for 2,400 yards, and it still didn't even equate to what they did in totality on offense on the ground in real life. Like, it's not like I could have made Reggie Bush even better, unless you wanted me to give him all 99s at every statistic. I mean, I made him good. And Lendale White, the only reason Lendale White's overall was an 89, so I know people may be commenting on that, it's because his archetype was receiving back. If he was a power back, he would have been like a 94 overall probably. But I did as much as I could to do them justice. The offensive line was good. They were good. They still ran wild. It was just better in real life. On the flip side, though, defense was really spot on, I feel like. This is a lot closer. 22.8 to 20 points per game. So in the game, they were better. 2 less points per game, about 30-ish less yards, and it was a lot better on the run defense side of things. Now, a big reason for that is going to be the fact that it's just more of a passing game nowadays in college football, and the fact that they were routinely down by, like, you know, on average 20 plus points. So they were going to be throwing the football more, whereas back then teams would concede a little bit more or stick to the ground game a little bit longer. But I mean, it was really accurate on defense. Points per game, yards per game, really on point. And the USC defense did their job in real life and in the game. The only thing that was really better for USC in real life was the turnovers. I mean, 37 turnovers compared to 18. So, you know, in the game, fumbles just don't really happen as much. I mean, that's not really something I can do much about. But interceptions, despite them passing the football a lot more in game, they just didn't catch as many picks. But sacks, even if you do per game averages, 32 sacks over 13 games does not equate to 51 sacks over 17 games. So the sacks in the game were better. Points per game, better. Yards, better. Almost everything on defense was actually better in college football 25. So I definitely did them justice in that regard. Now, I'm not going to do comparisons for every player, but I want to do Reggie Bush. Obviously, he's the centerpiece of the video. He's the star of the video. And things were pretty interesting. So I did cumulative statistics just to have those side by side, but also the per game statistics. So you can see in real life, he just didn't get like crazy amount of carries. I mean, when you have Lendale White and you have a guy like Reggie Bush, like you only need to give him 15 carries a game. But in the game, I made sure he touched the football, 22 carries a game. It resulted in more total yards, but the fact that there's an 8.7 yards per carry versus 6.4, I think you can chalk that up to the fact that that is, I think, realistic in the sense that, one, volume matters, and if you're getting like 200 more carries, then your yards per carry probably is going to go down, but also the fact that players nowadays are just faster. You know, Reggie back in 2005 was just able to blow through everybody. You know, in today's college football, I think his yards per carry would be worse, even if you brought in the best version of Reggie. But, you know, touchdowns was up. Receiving, identical. 2.8 and literally separated by 0.1 yards. I nailed his receiving. It was identical. But touchdowns is where the game had him. 34 total touchdowns compared to what he had in real life, which was 18. Still really good, but Lendale White took a lot of touchdowns in real life. Lendale White had more touchdowns than Reggie. In the game, Lendale wasn't stealing the touchdowns. Reggie was able to get them all and even get more through the air. So how about 34 touchdowns in 17 games? So cumulatively, you know, Reggie in the game had the volume to get more statistics, but he took the touchdowns. They were identical in receiving. So overall, I think he's showed that he was just as good in the game as he was in real life. Still robbed of a Heisman in the game. Yeah, those numbers right there weren't good enough to win a Heisman, but I hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of what I did in this video, and if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other teams you want to see me do. I know there's probably going to be a lot of requests for like 2019 LSU, but even some other teams. I'm willing to do some, you know, maybe overlooked teams or lesser teams and recreate them. So like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff is much appreciated, and I will see you guys all in the next one.